Fortnite isn't Fortnite anymore. It's an entirely different game that is almost unrecognizable. Okay, cut the sad music. This isn't just some nostalgic take about how Fortnite was better because old is better and new sucks. And it's not going to be a video about me complaining that players are not absolute trash cans at the game anymore. Unlike the average Fortnite BR redditor, I don't think everyone who's good at the game is just a sweat. I actually like playing against good players. I may rage sometimes right after dying to one.
I just lagged, bro. He's like, do you have heals? Oh my god, you're a bunch up.
But I do still prefer to have a challenge when playing games. We do still have the days of bad players on the map, by the way. They're called bots, and the only way I can get away from them is playing ranked. But anyways, we just had the original Chapter 1 map with varying Chapter 1 loot pools playable just a couple months ago, and I was having the time of my life in 2023 playing this.
You f***ing loser.
It's fine.
26 cracked. 26 again. 26 again. 26 again.
Dead! Oh my god! Get beamed! Playing on that original map again was something I've wanted to be able to do literally since the day the Black Hole event happened back in 2019. I never wanted this map to be removed from the game in the first place. I'm up for new maps and actually do want to see them, but replacing the old map, I'm just not a fan of that idea, especially after we've had 5 different maps and 4 of them we can't play on anymore. If my love for the OG mode was just nostalgia, I'd have ended up getting bored within a week, thinking about how it's just not the same and how everyone who said I'm just blinded by nostalgia was right.
Like that's ever gonna happen.
Trust me, I know how it feels to be manipulated by nostalgia. I've played Call of Duty for the last 14 years, and this ain't it. I ended up playing for the entire month, grinding more Fortnite than I had ever the entirety of Chapters 3 and 4. The OG map was back, the pump was back, the scar was back, the bolt was back. Oh my god! The OG art style was back. Fortnite was back. Until that idea in the back of my mind popped up. How this wasn't going to be playable forever. I was right. Epic seemingly is going to be using the OG mode as a carrot on a stick to keep players coming back. Season OG ended up breaking the concurrent player count of the game after all. Even more than 2018's peak back when the game was an absolute social phenomenon.
I'm not seeing enough movement.
Being on the news, and I even had teachers who would talk about playing Fortnite on their phone during this time. So to break that record is pretty mind-blowing, and I don't exactly blame Epic for holding back on making an OG mode permanent, but this leads up to today, Chapter 5. This was a complete 180 from what we had. We went from the pump to the hammer pump, from the bolt to barely any skill required, from Omega to Peter Griffin on the secret sauce. The game doesn't feel like it once did. This is both a positive and a negative. It's a good thing because of course the game has to change to keep people interested so they can keep buying those shiny new skins. It's a negative because enough changes happen and it makes an entirely new game, and players who love the old game may not be a fan of the new one. I think change can be good, but I believe Fortnite has gone beyond necessary changes, almost devolving the original experience. In Chapter 5 they changed the movement. This was something players immediately did not like. Over time they increased the speed of the walking, and I guess we all just got used to it, but even now in Chapter 5 Season 2, the movement feels clunky and not as fluid as the original movement that in my opinion just did not need to be changed. I'll be trying to run out of the storm sometimes and my stamina will just run out, and it makes me want to scream, "Let me move!" Actually, I do scream that sometimes, so I'd be lying if I said this movement didn't frustrate me often, especially when building. This change makes it feel like you just turned off auto sprint and you're just walking like an absolute bot. Still a change I'd love to see get reverted, but as we all know, Epic is quite stubborn, so I don't think it will ever happen. Looking at the loot pool, I think having a bunch of new weapons is amazing. It keeps the game feeling fresh and exciting every season, but what I don't like is ever since Chapter 3, they frequently have left our weapons that are staples in the game. The scar, the pump, the bolt, just to name a few. I'm all for the idea of rotating these out every other season or something, but having them completely removed from the game for entire chapters sometimes is just a terrible idea. The Bolt Sniper, one of my all-time favorite weapons in the game, hasn't been in a new season, not including the OG season of course, because well, I mean, of course it'll be in there, since Chapter 2 Season 7. That was back in August of 2021. This hurts that quote-unquote Fortnite feeling that me and many others really loved about this game. Next is the map though. The map is a big one for me. The new Chapter 5 map just isn't it in my opinion. This could easily be fixed with a map rotation similar to Apex. This would allow a variety of these awesome maps we haven't been able to play on since their respective chapters. For reasons unknown, Epic clearly doesn't want to do that. The reasons I don't like the map are simple. When I look at the map while in the bus, I stare at it for a minute with a blank expression on my face, not knowing where to go, and then I end up clicking on Classy Courts because it's the only somewhat interesting POI on the entire map. The Chapter 5 map feels almost like something made for Warzone. It doesn't have that Fortnite charm that the Chapter 1 and, to an extent, Chapter 2 maps had. I'd look at the Chapter 1 map and see Pleasant Park, Paradise Palms, Greasy Grove, Retail Row, and of course, who could forget the legendary Tilted Towers. The new POIs are very nice, I'll give them that, but they also have medallions there, so I can only drop there if I want to simulate what it feels like to be a big streamer getting stream sniped every game.
It's the same guy, it's the same guy, it's the same guy. 15-minute delay! And then what?
And every other POI kind of just looks the same to me. I think the Warzone feel also comes from the art style of the map. The last couple chapters, they've been pushing hard for this realistic tone for their games, seemingly to advertise the power of Unreal Engine 5 to the gaming industry. The original art style had charm. This doesn't. Obviously, this is subjective, so I'll leave it at that, but this looks like Fortnite to me. This doesn't. The attachment system was a cool idea, but again, it just makes the game feel more like Warzone or some other battle royale. Now I have to worry about which are the best attachments for my gun. I have to constantly downgrade the rarity of my weapon because I have a legendary one, but it doesn't have a scope on it, but this green one does, so I gotta pick up the green one. It just adds unnecessary complexity, although just like the perk system, I don't remember what they're called exactly, I think this may be a temporary thing just for Chapter 5, but then again, what other thing will they add in Chapter 6 that has the same effect on the game? Then there's the push from Epic for creative with UEFN, Lego Fortnite, Rocket Racing, Fortnite Festival, and probably more games coming in the future, but just don't tell them about Save the World. They must have forgotten about that one. I really do like Lego Fortnite, Fortnite Festival, I like the game modes, and the creative push with UEFN is a great addition to the game, but I don't think it'll ever replace Battle Royale. I just do not believe that. I think Battle Royale will always be the #1 part of the game that people get on to play Fortnite for, and to push against it, I think is just not a good idea. Real quick, if you guys are enjoying this video, a like would be greatly appreciated, and if you would like to support the channel, you can use code YouTubeIt's4G in the Fortnite item shop. I do get a small portion of that sale, and I'd greatly appreciate it. Alright, back to the video. All the weapons have bullet travel time now, just another step towards trying to make Fortnite more realistic, which I disagree with. Every Battle Royale game has this style of weapons now, slowly blending what makes each of them unique. I mean, going back to the movement, tell me this wasn't inspired by PUBG when creating this. Other than the fact that you can't go prone, this looks and feels pretty similar to me. I don't like complaining about this game, especially since back in 2018, this was one of my favorite games of all time, but in its current state, I just can't say that's the case anymore. Looking at other games that I play that have changed a lot over time due to the live service model, Rainbow Six Siege for an example. This is a game I've been playing technically a little bit longer than even Fortnite. It has changed so much over the last couple of years, but in my opinion, it never changed so drastically in a different direction that ended up making it feel like it was just trying to be a different game entirely. And even when it did sometimes slip towards playing more like Call of Duty, they recently came back and updated the game and fixed that by changing up the meta with some new updates, and it's a great time. Dude, holy shit. They've even hit record player counts on Steam recently, which is great to see. Now, it is comparing a tactical shooter to a battle royale, but an even better example, I guess, then would be Apex, as I mentioned earlier. This game added a bunch of maps over the years with a map rotating system so you can continue enjoying these maps over time. They also add new weapons without replacing all of the classic ones that made the game unique and loved in the first place. I mean, imagine Apex without the R99, R301, or Wingman. Sure, they may rotate them out here or there and make them supply drop only weapons, but they're still in the game, and the rest of the loot pool is still largely made up of classic weapons as well. I also gotta say, I think we are over the idea of caring about the story and why the map got destroyed and how it can't come back because lore. I mean, they didn't even give us an explanation as to why or how we got on the Chapter 5 map in the first place. As far as we know, the Chapter 4 map is still there, as there was no event or cinematic showing it got destroyed. Clearly, even Epic themselves are over this revolving the map around the story stuff. Now, this is all just my opinion, of course. Clearly, a giant chunk of players are still very much enjoying Fortnite ever since bringing them back from the OG season, though who knows how long that will really last. If we look back at Chapter 4's player count, it was still a really solid number, but a fraction of what Season OG and even now Chapter 5 is having. Yes, the average player count has dropped since the OG season, but the game is still retaining a lot of those players. So it's hard for me to say Chapter 5 is bad when so many are still very clearly interested in playing. So I'll just say this, Chapter 5 and modern Fortnite in general is bad for me. After getting a taste of what Fortnite used to be again, going back to this was just a downgraded experience.
Don't care. Finish me. Thanks for the chug jug, dumbass.
Sure, the graphics look prettier, the animations may be of higher quality, even if they don't feel like they are, and I may even have fun on this game still here and there. But Fortnite is missing that truly addictive experience, that spark, that hint of a soul that it once had. It's all just gone. I saw it briefly return in Season OG, and I'm sure I'll enjoy it again when they bring back the OG mode, but for now, I do have to say, Fortnite just isn't Fortnite anymore.